Imagine this. You close your textbook, grab a blank page, and test yourself. Your hand is trembling. That hot wave in your stomach, you know it's coming. The moment you realize you got it wrong, that sinking, I'm not smart enough feeling. I think I'm addicted to avoiding that feeling. And I'm pretty sure everyone watching this is too.
And what if that exact feeling, the one you're running from, is actually a compass pointing you directly to where real learning happens?
Wait, so the thing that makes me feel stupid is actually the thing that would make me smarter?
The discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your most precise teacher. And it's the foundation of how Japanese students memorize over 2,000 kanji characters and retain them for life. They've turned mistakes into a science. Be honest with me. When you test yourself while studying, do you actually close the book first?
I check my understanding. I review the material.
Do you close the book, or do you keep glancing back to make sure?
I might peek. A little. Okay, a lot.
That's not testing. That's reassurance seeking. And there's a neurological reason we all do it.
What do you mean?
When you reread your notes, the information feels familiar. Your brain goes, oh yeah, I know this. But that's recognition, like recognizing a face at a party. Real learning is recalling their name when you need to introduce them. Totally different neural processes.
But I need to feel confident before I test myself, right? Otherwise, it's just setting myself up to fail.
And that right there is the trap. Western education taught us something toxic. Mistakes mean you're not smart. But Japanese students learned the opposite. Mistakes are data.
Data?
They have a system. It's called a mistake lab. We'll build yours in the next 10 minutes, but first you need to understand why your brain is sabotaging you. Right now, you're spending hours highlighting and rereading, methods that feel productive, but don't create strong memories. And here's the kicker. Your brain can dump 70 to 80% of that information within 48 hours, unless you send it a very strong signal that it matters.
And the signal isn't reading it again.
The signal is struggling to retrieve it. MIT studied this. Students who documented errors scored 34% higher on delayed tests than students who just reviewed. That struggle, that uncomfortable moment of, I should know this, that's what strengthens memory.
So I'm avoiding the one thing that would actually help me because it feels bad?
Welcome to the human condition. But once you understand what's happening, you can change it. Here's where it gets wild. 3 mistakes most students make when they study, and the 3-step system that flips each one into an advantage. Let's break them down. There's something psychologists call fluency illusion. When you reread highlighted text, the information feels familiar. Your brain goes, oh yeah, I know this.
But I do know it when I'm reading it.
You recognize it, but can you retrieve it without the prompt? Here's what actually builds memory. Retrieval effort. The struggle of pulling information from nothing. That's what creates strong neural pathways.
So even when I get it wrong, I'm learning?
Especially when you get it wrong. That's when your brain pays the most attention. The electrical signal your brain sends when you struggle to recall something is way stronger than the signal from passive review.
Wait, so that uncomfortable feeling of not knowing
is actually the feeling of your brain doing its job. But we've been trained to interpret it as failure.
Okay, but here's the thing. When I do force myself to test and I get it wrong, I don't think, oh good, neural pathways forming. I think, why am I so stupid? I just studied this.
And what do you do next?
I usually stop testing myself, go back to highlighting or rereading, something that feels safer.
That's the trap. The emotional discomfort of being wrong sends you back to methods that feel productive but don't actually work.
I feel stupid. And then I start thinking, why am I so bad at this? Everyone else seems to get it. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this subject. Wait.
What?
Oh my God, I'm doing it right now. I'm feeling shame about my shame. I'm judging myself for not being able to handle a mistake better.
And that is the trap. The mistake is just a spark, but the shame is the gasoline you pour on the fire. The mistake takes 5 seconds. The shame spiral can steal hours. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Mistakes aren't proof you can't learn. They're proof of what you haven't learned yet. Totally different meaning.
That's actually way less painful.
It's also way more useful, because now the mistake has information for you, not drama, data. Even students who push through the discomfort often run into a third problem: inefficient repetition.
What do you mean?
You study the entire chapter again, including the 90% you already know, instead of targeting the 10% you don't.
Because I don't know what the 10% is.
No, you know exactly what it is. It's everything you got wrong when you tested yourself. This is where students in high-performing education systems do something most Western students never even consider. They keep what's called a mistake lab, a dedicated notebook for errors. In Japan, it's a core study practice.
Wait, an entire notebook for things I got wrong?
Not things you got wrong. Data. Each mistake tells you exactly where your understanding breaks down. Why would you waste time reviewing what you already know?
Oh, so mistakes aren't the problem, they're the solution. They show me exactly what to focus on.
Now you're thinking in data instead of drama. This is the unlock.
Wait. This whole time I thought the problem was that I wasn't studying hard enough.
But the real problem was,
I was protecting my ego instead of investigating my errors.
yes, you're not avoiding mistakes because you're lazy. You're avoiding them because your brain is trying to protect you from feeling inadequate.
So when I feel that hot, sinking feeling of getting something wrong,
That's not the feeling of failure. Here's the tiny aha that changes everything. That discomfort is the feeling of your brain forging a new neural pathway.
the struggle itself is the signal that strengthens memory.
Exactly. We've been trained to run from the very feeling that proves our brains are working. The discomfort isn't a bug, it's a feature. And here's why this matters so much. School trained you to be a performer. Your job was to show up on test day and prove what you know.
And that's wrong?
It's incomplete. Real learning happens when you become a scientist in private. A scientist's job isn't to be right. It's to find out where they're wrong.
They run experiments.
They find the bugs. They document the errors. The Mistake Lab is your private laboratory for studying the most fascinating subject in the world, how your own brain learns.
Mistakes aren't the opposite of learning.
They're the engine of it.
This is why studying harder doesn't work. I was doing more of the wrong thing.
You were performing confidence instead of testing competence. You were choosing comfort over encoding.
And every time I avoided checking what I got wrong, I was choosing to stay in the dark about exactly what I needed to learn.
Now you're thinking like a scientist instead of a student being graded. Ready for the system? Before any technique will work, you need to reframe mistakes at the emotional level. Otherwise, you'll just avoid the system we're about to give you. Old belief: getting it wrong means I'm not smart enough. New belief: getting it wrong means my brain hasn't encoded this yet, and now I know exactly what to fix.
That's way less threatening.
There's a Zen concept called Shoshin, beginner's mind. It means approaching learning with curiosity instead of ego. Not, I should already know this, but I'm discovering what I don't know yet.
So I'm not defending my intelligence. I'm investigating my gaps.
Now you're ready for the system. Step 1. Test yourself before you feel ready.
That sounds terrifying.
It's the opposite. Waiting until you feel ready just delays confronting what you don't know. And every day you delay, your brain is forgetting more. The method: blank page test. After reading a section, close the book. Write everything you remember. Expectation: you will forget things. That's the entire point. The rule: no peeking. Let yourself get it wrong. Every gap you discover is a gift. It's telling you, study this specifically, not everything else.
So the goal isn't to feel good about how much I remember.
The goal is to discover precisely what you forgot. That's your roadmap. Step 2. Build your mistake lab, a dedicated space where errors become data. The 3 columns. Column 1. What I got wrong. The exact question, concept, or problem. Column 2. Why I got it wrong. Not, I'm dumb. Actual cause. Confused X with Y. Skipped a step. Misread the question. Column 3. Targeted fix. The smallest change that prevents this specific error. Mnemonic device, practice problem, clarify definition. Here is a real example. Wrong. Said mitochondria produces glucose. Why? Confused production with processing, mixed up with chloroplasts. Fix. Mitochondria equals power plant, uses fuel, doesn't make it. Chloroplasts equals factory, makes fuel via photosynthesis.
So instead of just feeling bad, I'm reverse engineering the error.
You're shifting from drama to data. You're a scientist studying your brain's bugs.
This is actually kind of exciting, like detective work for my own mind.
Step 3. Only practice what you got wrong.
Not the whole chapter?
Not the whole chapter. You already know 85% of it. Why would you waste time reviewing material you've mastered? Methods. Flashcards only for your errors, not every concept in the chapter. Rewrite just the problematic concept 5 different ways. Do 3 to 5 similar problems, targeting that specific mistake pattern. This is why Mistake Lab students study less but score higher. They're not wasting time on material they've already encoded. It's precision surgery instead of carpet bombing.
Perfect analogy.
One more thing, and this comes from Japanese railway safety systems. When you work from your mistake lab, physically point to the error and say it aloud.
Like, this is where I confuse the terms?
Exactly. I am fixing this specific confusion. This technique is called shisakonko, pointing and calling. It forces active engagement and prevents autopilot studying. It sounds silly, but it works. You're activating multiple brain areas, visual, motor, verbal, all at once.
So my whole body is encoding the correction, not just my eyes reading it.
Now you're thinking like a neuroscientist. Here's your challenge. For 1 week, flip your entire study approach. Day 1 to 2. Build your mistake lab. Get a dedicated notebook. Physical or digital, doesn't matter. Test yourself on current material with book closed. Document every gap, confusion, wrong answer. Day 3 to 5. Targeted practice. Spend 80% of study time on mistake lab items only. Use the 3-column analysis for each error. Add new mistakes as they appear. Day 6 to 7. Compare. Test yourself on both mistake-drilled material and passively reviewed material. Notice the difference in confidence and accuracy.
I'm genuinely curious what happens when you stop hiding from what you don't know. Will you try this?
One warning, this will feel uncomfortable at first.
Because we're doing the thing we've been trained to avoid?
Right. Your perfectionist instinct will scream, "Stop! This feels bad." That discomfort is actually proof it's working. The discomfort isn't failure. It's your brain doing the hard work of encoding. Lean into it.
I'll be honest, I still have to consciously remind myself of this every single time.
Me too. This isn't about arriving at some perfect state. It's about catching yourself faster each time you start avoiding.
So this isn't about becoming fearless overnight.
It's about building a new habit loop. Right now, your loop is mistake, shame, avoidance, repeat. The new loop becomes mistake to curiosity, to documentation, to targeted fix, to competence.
And the more I practice the new loop, the weaker the old one gets.
Exactly. You're literally rewiring the emotional response, but it takes repetition. Remember, this isn't just a study technique. It's an identity shift.
From performer protecting my ego
To scientist, discovering your gaps.
And scientists aren't afraid to find out what's broken, because that's literally their job.
Every student who seems naturally smart probably has one thing in common. They're not afraid to be wrong in private.
They're not protecting their ego during practice.
And because they're not protecting their ego, they're actually learning. The ego protection is what keeps most students stuck. This week, every time you feel that hot, sinking feeling of being wrong, pause and ask yourself, am I doing drama or data?
Drama is the shame spiral, the I'm not smart enough story. Takes hours.
Data is the 3-column analysis. What went wrong? Why? How do I fix it? Takes minutes.
Drama keeps you stuck.
Data moves you forward. Your mistakes aren't your enemy. They're not proof you can't learn.
They're a precision map, showing exactly where the learning needs to happen.
Every error you document is a coordinate. Every fix you implement is progress.
So here's what I want to know. What will you discover you don't know yet?
Here's your challenge. Right now, not tomorrow, not after this video, right now, grab any notebook. Write Mistake Lab on the cover.
Test yourself on something you studied this week. Document what you got wrong.
Do this before you watch another video. Why? Because the students who take action in the next 60 seconds are the ones who actually change.
Everyone else just nods and forgets.
Which one are you? Comment below and let us know.
And if this changed how you think about mistakes, share it with someone who needs to hear this. Someone who's stuck in the shame spiral.
Because the most powerful way to internalize learning, teach it to someone else.
What mistake will you document first?
The discomfort you're feeling right now? That's encoding.